It's good to see you guys. Uh, really, really tough game to watch. A lot of missed opportunities. I thought defensively, I thought the first two drives was kind of what I was expecting and really working for the entire game. I thought some of the line stunts we were doing and the quarters coverage that we're playing, guys were where they needed to be. A lot of the early drives was 11 personnel, and they went to 12 personnel, and we had a line movement package for that, and we didn't execute that as well. And there's a motion, and we got to get it back in the box. He didn't come in the box. He stayed outside. We have too many guys outside, and it pops. But then we get back to playing consistently, and it was, from then on. It was a mix of the inconsistent spacing. We'd have 9 guys or 10 guys where we need them to be, and 1 or 2 where we don't, and we couldn't get it over that hump. I thought offensively, a lot of zero blitz, more zero than we've seen all year. I think there was parts of man free that we saw early in the game, and we're able to run some pick routes and rub routes essentially and be able to make some plays on it. It was a lot of the zone we saw. We're way effective on and really got them out of the zone. And, I think their third thing to go to was zero blitz. And it was basically that way for the rest of the game. And we could never quite get a throw and a catch to exploit it. We're a drop away, a miss away, a play away from, an 8-yard slant going 80 yards. And, if we would have gotten that early in the game, I think it's a different game. And so just frustrating. I think the emotions boiling over at the end is disappointing, and it's not us, and we're dealing with that now. But this morning's meetings was really good to move focus and to work on to a really good opponent here coming up. A lot of respect for Coach Brennan. I've known him. And when I was at Cal Lu, I remember him interviewing for a job at Cal Lu. I was a student at Cal Lutheran. And, I was a student assistant, and our head coach there, Scott Squires, had me as a part of the interview process. And Brent came in, and we interviewed him. I remember I had a question or 2 questions. Every guy had a question that sat around the table. And he's just getting grilled, in the interview deal. This was 1990-something, So I've known him ever since then. A lot of respect for him. He's a great guy. I want to see him do well, and I know he's got his team playing well. Take any questions you guys got.
Dave, with the Big 12 championship off the table in terms of goals, how have y'all sort of managed resetting goals, and has that been hard? Because guys maybe kind of disappointed that now they're shooting for maybe a bowl game.
Yeah, we're working really hard to win. I think that's the goal, and to play better and to improve. And so, so much of what we talk about is, past performance doesn't predict anything in the future, right? Just because you won doesn't mean you're going to win next week, or just because you lost, no matter what the loss, doesn't mean you're going to lose next week. It's the choices that you make. It's the effort that you bring. It's the attitude that you decide on. Those are the things. So we're really focused on that, trying to go 1-0 today, if we can.
Coach, you talked a lot about the players blocking out noise and all the outside stuff. How do you personally do that when, there's certainly some stuff that's probably hard to ignore. How do you handle that?
I just get focused on my job, and then when I'm not doing it, don't go to my phone. And then I'm so exhausted, I crash, And so a lot of work to get done. I thought, the bye week was a bunch of work going into this last one. So it's just so frustrating that the outcome was what it was. This is just when you come off a bye, and it's so much of a faster week, just a normal week. And so there's so much work that's got to get done. There's really no time for anything but trying to get right to it. So I think all of that, and then just not looking at your phone.
Dave, on the defensive side, you talked about where y'all got out of gaps and
Mhm.
stuff. Was it more on the second level? Was it some up front? What was it?
I thought our linebackers played their worst game. I thought, you look at every touchdown just about that we gave up, it was that position group. And it's just, I don't know. We talked about, we had in 11 personnel and then in 12 personnel, we just played one coverage the whole game, but we had different fronts with stunts and stuff. Really kind of simple stuff, and we just, I think one of the things that we talked about this morning was here's all the clips of us in practice doing it right, and here's the first time we see it in a game and we do it wrong. There's a lot of hard answers that have to come from that question.
Dave, do you feel like Sawyer, who was having such a great start, could not the burden, but the fact that he almost had to play the perfect game for you guys to have a chance to win, has he cracked in a way? And I don't mean that like fragile, but I hope you understand what I'm asking.
Yeah, I think the pressure got to him. I think, there was, Sawyer could have played a better game, and, I could have called a better game. Our DBs could have tackled better in the game. But I thought that there's plays that we got to make versus how they're playing us, right? Whether it's man-to-man, and, I think we're able to connect with Cole on one or two. There's a whole lot more out there of just fade balls from that slot position that I thought were there, and we got to get it there. And then, the zero blitz, there's multiple times that we got inside breaking routes, and we got to connect with them. And I think, without Sawyer, we're not able to win any games. We're not to be in any type of position to get to a bowl game or to be competitive or any of those things. And so I just think Sawyer always wants to do what's right, and he always wants to go above and beyond. And so I think kind of get it to where it's kind of refocused and, hey, man, let's make this play. Let's execute this. I think to get it back to that level would be good for everybody.
Dave, I saw Carl Williams in street clothes during the game,
Yeah.
but he was listed as available.
Yeah.
Can you give an update there?
He's still working back to 100% full speed. I think his let me say that his speed is good. His change of direction's got to improve. There's spots where, and maybe positioning where he could play and be effective. But I think as far as the whole gamut goes, I think we're still working to get there, with the goal to get there.
Dave, you mentioned the other day you're going to need your leaders to lead. Have you seen that? Obviously there hasn't been much time since Saturday, but
Yeah.
What have you seen out of them?
Yeah, there's been whether it was Saturday night or let's use an example of Saturday night. So we had commitment time Saturday night, and so for all the stuff that sucks, for certain guys it sucks even more. And so if they were late to a class or missed a class, then there's study hall Saturday night, and it goes from really right after the game to 2 a.m. And so doubles suck, And so our leaders were guys who were making sure they were there. And so they were making sure, hey, you're not, everyone feels like this, but you're going. And so it's been that way. It'll continue to be that way. I think as far as moving forward to next week or this week, I think it's showing up, making the decision to bring the right type of energy and focus and mindset, and then getting guys to match them and calling them out. And I count that our guys are going to do that.
It seemed like Omar was battling to stay on the field in the
Yeah.
first half, and then didn't really play much in the second. How's he doing? And what does he mean to that, making the offensive line go?
He's a big part of it. He's kind of the heart and soul of it. I mean, there's a tenacity about him, and just, they're good anger issues that come out in appropriate times, and we need that. And so I think for him, I think he's got maybe a doctor appointment here in the middle of the week. That's a big one. I think we get over that hump. I think we're expecting him, and so we're working towards that. I think he very much wants to finish what he started.
What challenges does Arizona present?
I thought, defensively, a lot of respect for their coordinator. I think he does a great job, and he has multiple spots he's been. They're pretty creative there, so there's some stunts and some pressures. They get in and out of 3-down, 4-down fronts. There's some good length in the back end. They've gotten a lot of takeaways, which for us has been an issue this year, and so I think that's a concern. And I think offensively, they've been able to run the ball and really hit on some runs, some big runs. And then quarterback does a great job of throwing the ball down the field. They've got guys that go up and get it. It's more of a vertical passing game. This is probably the first time, maybe since Arizona State, that a team's going to drop back pass just on first or second down. We just haven't seen it this year. Outside of probably Arizona State, most teams' quarterbacks are going to run, or they're going to be some type of RPO or play action or some type of thing. They're going to just sit back there and throw it. And so that's going to be a challenge for us because we just haven't really seen it most of the year. I think their O-line's massive, big dudes, and play hard. I think if you put it all together, though, they believe. There's confidence with them. They had a big win this past Saturday, and so you're going to have to crack the belief to get to the win.
With bowl eligibility on the line, does that fuel more of a fire for the last 2 games?
I think so. Our guys recognize that, and they want that. I want that. I want that bad for just the guys that deserve it, that deserve more than where it is right now.
Dave, Mac hired you.
Yeah.
And he extended you. And there's 2 weeks left in the season. Have you had any talks with the administration or anybody about the future? And do you expect to be here not only the next 2 weeks, but into the future?
Yeah, I appreciate that question, but our focus is just on right now and winning. There's nothing else really matters. For any chance at anything, I have to do my best, and our team has to do our best. And I'm just thinking, like, for our fans, I'm thinking for our players and their families. I'm thinking for everyone that wants to don a BU something on a Saturday. We have to play better than what we're playing. And, if I can get the football better, I really believe all the other stuff will work out and it will be however it'll be. And I put my faith in it. But the football's got to get better. So that's what I'm focused on.
Dave, is the QB run not as big a weapon for them? Is he more of a passer?
He is, yeah. He can run the ball. He scrambles, particularly to his right. He's going to scramble to his thrown hand, and he'll elongate it to try to throw it. They're pretty good on their scramble drill. We were able to hit one of those last Saturday for a touchdown there at the end, but they do a pretty good job of it. But they have the ability to run the quarterback. We've been hurt by that. I would anticipate that we see that.
Is anyone facing any discipline from that scuffle in the fourth quarter that would affect the game availability?
Well, yeah. We're not going to have Ashton for that first half, but then outside of that, we're taking care of it all just kind of throughout this week.
How big a blow is that, losing Ashton for a half? You've got good receivers, but
I thought Ashton was really playing hard. I thought there's catches that he made where he was playing really full speed, and but then what really showed was there was catches the other guys made, and he was racing to get blocks, and he was sacrificing himself to get blocks. He got up in front of the team prior to that game on Friday and said that he was going to play with crazy effort, and he did it. I just think in that moment, he has to control his emotions. You have to be all the way in and then all the way out at the same time, and we're still working on that with him.
Yeah, how hard is that in the heat of the moment like that?
Yeah, that's part of it. You just represent so much more. There's so much more at stake than just what you feel at that particular time, and so that whole thing's a thing. But he recognizes it, he understands it, and he's committed to doing it.
You said earlier this season that Trig is more trusting of people as he's been here, and he's better off for it. How did you, as a staff, kind of get him to that point? What's that process been like since he got here?
Yeah, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. I think whenever there's not like a built-in or an ability to easily trust or connect, I think it's hard, because I think it's you're going to be judged anyways. You're going to be kind of evaluated, not only for what your words say, but what your energy is and your facial expression and just kind of the whole. And so it's very much that way. And then, your decisions on just about anything have to be really well thought out, because he's kind of keeping track and measuring. Well, this was with this guy, this was with that guy, so this is how it is, or this is what it's going to be with me. And so I think that's you have to almost like pass that test, so to speak, to get to the other level of now where there's an opening up of trust. And this is if you're coming from a spot where there's really none. And so, that's what it was. But I think now it's like you can say what you feel, and he believes you and knows it's for his own growth and his own good, which is where you were in the beginning. But sometimes you have to go through that to show people how much you really mean it.
Is Jaden the one that fills that spot with Ashton out, or Jaden Porter, or who else fills in there?
Yeah, I mean, we can. Jaden can move on outside. We can move. There's Cole we can move to. I think Cole's at his best when we can get him kind of space and stuff to operate, and so there's opportunities there too. And then even Trigg being out there is an opportunity as well when he's worked outside, not inside all the time.
What makes their running back so hard to bring down? He's been playing well lately.
He plays hard. Yeah, they run hard. There's arm tackles that he busts through. There's not really a ton of tempo with them, and it's good for them. They don't need it. They've been able to really kind of be effective without the use of it. But he runs. The thing that strikes me is running hard. There's multiple arm tackles or dragging guys, falling forward, busting through first, second level. So they do a really good job. I think that's the key to them. I mean, they've got some good receivers, and the quarterback's really good, and they protect well, but the run game is what makes it go.
David kind of gets lost in the shuffle, but the energy from the shirtless guys, did you feel that, or did you see that?
I did see that. We had there's some family or some close friends from Redlands, where I'm from, that came to the game, and they went to the same high school as my wife and I and everything, and so they got in town on Friday, and they've been to a couple games, where there's bowl games and the game in Arlington and all that. So they were at this one, and I guess he went up there, and one of our guests went up there and took a shirt. He was so proud of that. I go, bro, that's, so I guess it happens. Okay, thank you guys.